Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast, powered by Healthy Steps Nutrition Mentoring. At HSN, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. We know that helping our clients become the best and healthiest versions of themselves isn't just about telling them what to eat or going to the gym a few hours a week. We have to focus on a holistic approach, addressing nutrition, stress management, sleep, support system, lifestyle, and of course, exercise. The mission at HSN is simple: empower 1 million people to take control of their health one step at a time so they can prevent and reverse chronic disease. My name is Nicole Aucoin, and I'm the founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, home of CrossFit HSN and HSN Mentoring. I'm so excited about today's podcast guest. Denise Thomas is a legend in the CrossFit space. She has a wealth of knowledge, has been working for CrossFit HQ for over 14 years. I've had the privilege to get to know her over the past couple of years because we speak at many of the CrossFit affiliate summits together. She is a wealth of knowledge related to coach development and empowering confident fitness coaches. I thought it'd be a really great, fun podcast episode to talk to our audience today all about coach development on the fitness side. We will get to this episode right after this message. Did you know that HSN Mentoring provides a turnkey solution to help gym owners and coaches build, launch, and grow professional nutrition coaching programs? From business systems to marketing support to the nutrition coaching certification, which is one of the CrossFit preferred nutrition courses, and an app to manage your clients. Everything is all in one place. There's initial training and then ongoing support to help you scale and grow your nutrition program so that you can expand and help and support people beyond just the walls of your gym. Creating partnerships with companies like employee wellness and even healthcare partnerships, which are such an incredible opportunity to serve people that are struggling the most, the people that really need help to reverse chronic disease. If you are looking to get started to build a professional nutrition coaching program and unsure where to start, we would love to help you. You can click the link in the show notes to book a free call with us today. All right, let's get to this episode with Denise Thomas. Denise, welcome to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. I am beyond excited to have you on today.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's nice to interact with you when we're not presenting at an event. So this is different and nice.
Oh my gosh, we've been on the road together a lot over the past 2 years, and it has been honestly a pleasure working alongside you. You're so passionate about coaching and helping coaches and helping owners develop coaches, anything around coaching. And I thought it'd just be a fun conversation. And we always talk about nutrition on this podcast. I was like, let's go complete opposite, maybe not opposite, because the foundation of CrossFit is nutrition, but let's really focus on coach development. So I know you're a busy lady. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome. And I'm not busy. And I'm definitely not too busy to do things like this, but I'm excited to talk about this because, like you just said, nutrition is the foundation. And I would bet that we have similar approaches. It's just the content is different. And I've heard you present, and that's why I like that you're there, because I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds very CrossFit foundations, but she's doing it with me. It's just cool. And the way that you mentor people, we have a lot in common.
We do, which I feel like we should talk about this first. A lot of people know you because you have taught so many level 1s, level 2s. You've been on seminar staff for forever. Talk a little bit about your background with CrossFit and your role now with the company.
Yeah, I started my journey in 2008, just kind of found it, I won't go into the details, but I found it in 2008. I got my, at that time, certification. Now it's a certificate, but I got my level 1 in June of 2009, signed right up for the level 2 when we were told not to, and did it in November of 2009. And then right around or just after that time, I started to intern with CrossFit. So that was late 2009. And then I got on staff in October of 2010. So
wow.
In October, it'll be 14 years working as a CrossFit HQ level 1, level 2 trainer. In 2013, and I'll never forget this because I was in Australia. Only time I went to Australia with CrossFit, I was working a level 1. And on the Monday morning, I woke up and I got an email from Dave and Nicole saying, hey, we'd like you to start the FMUI process, which is Flowmaster under instruction. And I was like, me? Like, me? You know, I was just finishing up the last lecture of the level 1. I'd not really done much of the level 2. Like, I still knew, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
I just never thought about it. I'm not going to say no. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait. Let's go. And then after I was like, yeah. So then I became a Flowmaster in like mid 2013. So I've been doing that for 11 years. And that was really my role, like for the longest time. And it still is. But it's evolved into judging at the CrossFit Games as a floor judge, and then being kind of put into a position of leadership by being an assistant judge and doing some semi-final head judge stuff. And I love that side of CrossFit. I'm a competition nerd and I love all aspects of CrossFit. And I was a mentor for the mentors of the trainers for the seminar staff. And after that, it is what it is now. I go wherever I'm needed. So I work on the Global Mentor Program, work on the Level 4 credential. I work on these affiliate summits that we do. And then anything else that CrossFit needs, content or just like really, really anything. I'm a servant of CrossFit. Let's call it that.
I think that is the best way to describe you, as, you know, just your passion for CrossFit and helping people. You're a servant of CrossFit and you're a wealth of knowledge. Goodness, I didn't realize that you were a Flowmaster for so long. That's amazing. You have taught so many of the people that come to these summits, their level 1s and their level 2s. There's always a line of people wanting to take pictures with you. It's so cute. You have a wealth of knowledge in regards to developing excellent coaches. And I thought it would be really fun to have this conversation. Let's start here. What does excellent coaching mean to you?
Oh man, I have a really hard time answering these questions because there are objectives, but it's also a little subjective from affiliate to affiliate. But there are some fundamental pieces that you have to have, right? So excellent coaching means mastery in the criteria that we give to people at the level 2. And that's more of the tangible things, like the mechanical side of it. So you have to have the amount of knowledge that is needed to teach the things you want to teach. And to be truly excellent, you have to be doing it. You've got to be doing it too. You can't just look at it and be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Because every day you get tripped up. So you have to be doing it and you have to have the knowledge. And as you know, we have a lot of things in CrossFit. There's just a lot. Every day I'm like, oh, wow, I don't really know much about that. I should probably explore. So there's the knowledge piece for teaching, and then there's how you apply it. Excellent coaches have multiple communication styles, from verbal to nonverbal. And then even within those, there are subcategories of the common ones of visual, verbal, tactile approach. And it's like, great, I'm just going to tell them what to do. But what if they're not an audio learner? All right, I'm going to show them. What if they don't really pick things up with visual contrasting images? What if they don't like to have the physical target? So excellent coaching also has the ability to be able to give people not always what they want, but what they need. Because there's a difference. Like, I'm going to give you something that I think you need. You might not want it. And that reason also depends. But after we try it, maybe you realize you need it. So, and it has to happen like this. So first you got to have the knowledge, then you got to know how to apply the knowledge actually on the floor. And that's the first part. And that even in and of itself is like, whoa, right? I got to be able to see and correct and do the thing. And then there's this whole group management aspect. And I think we talk about it a lot, but I don't think it gets enough attention of being like the thing that helps you succeed. I have a class yesterday, 26 people, Nicole. Like, our gym's not that big. So I planned for 22. I always try and plan for more than we have. And I'm getting a sense today the more are going to come. So I pulled out a bunch of extra equipment so I wouldn't lose time with them fondling around. And if you don't plan the logistics, where things are going to go, what the traffic patterns look like, Where are the scales going to go? How long is it going to take? Bathrooms. You know how long it takes to get 26 people through a bathroom break? So that's why I say it matters on what your gym looks like, because they all change. This whole group management piece is like, do you know your space? Do you know your people? Are you able to optimize the space with the equipment you have and have empathy and compassion and understanding for the people that are coming into the gym? That's the soft skills of, like, how are they feeling today? Like, I feel great, but they might have had a really crappy day. And now I got to switch. I got to be there. So I'd just probably start with that. You got to be doing it. You got to develop the knowledge. You've then got to start to be able to apply it. You've then got to start to be able to apply it to a multitude of the variety of athlete and sizes. And then you've also got to have the human stuff. Like, you have to be able to have that awareness that today might not be that day that you make this person go below parallel, right? So it's like those 6 criteria. There's so many things inside each one, but yeah, it's excellent. Excellence is hard.
It's an interesting balance. And I think some people, I've been coaching for a while, and you forget some of the basics, and ultimately you don't end up delivering a really excellent experience for the people that are coming to your classes. So, it's a continuous quest of knowledge and looking up things and doing your research to hone in your skills. I can't believe that you took your level 2 right after your level 1. I remember it being like years between mine, probably close to the recertification time, which is why I did the level 2. And it was an eye-opening experience for me. I'm like, I am not as good of a coach as I think I am. And that's a good thing, a humbling thing for all of us, because it makes us hungry and want to do better, want to learn, and ultimately be able to provide a better experience. Which, if you're listening to this and you have your level 1 and you recertify with your level 1 and you haven't done your level 2, do it, because it's such a good experience for you. You talked a lot about being able to manage the class and meeting people where they're at. And, sometimes I think there could be so much packed in a class plan that you forget that we have to have this balance of having fun too, so that people want to keep coming back. Like, yes, at CrossFit, we do hard things, but we want to have some fun in there too. Where does fun fit in with delivering an excellent experience?
Oh, it has to be built on fun. And fun doesn't mean easy. Fun is very different for everyone, but fun isn't like you taking your foot off the pedal. I'll give you an example for today. Actually, the class we did today, it's a great example let me pull back a little further. If you approach coaching CrossFit as just coaching a workout, that will fizzle out. Eventually, that just won't, for me, it would fizzle out. So the challenge is to continually find pockets of, or opportunities to bring that fun element beyond, let's play a game, or, let's do a question of the day. And so what I like to do is look at the workout and I'll do it if I can, and I'll find out what's really going on in that workout when I'm in it. And then I take that and I try to give that experience to others by putting little challenges on people. And an example of that would be, okay, we do the workout Karen. I've talked about this before. So 150 wall balls for time. It's 20-pound ball, 14-pound ball. And you do 150 wall balls and that's your score. You get your time. And fastest people, some people do that unbroken. It's ridiculous. It's like 5-6 minutes. And but for a lot of us, it's doable to be done in 10, 12 kind of minutes. But imagine if every time we did Karen, it was just like, all right, pick the ball that you can do 10, you can do 10 reps every time. So you can basically do 15 rounds of 10 reps. And that was like your strategy, always. Like the whole classic, like, well, this is what I've heard. This is what I'll say, 10 to 15 reps. Although Karen's a benchmark and we do want to get that benchmark, sometimes you can use it as a training protocol. So it could be, today we're doing Karen, but the focus isn't specifically to PR. It's to adapt. So today you have to pick a ball that you can do. Every time you pick it up, you can do 20 reps, 25 reps. And for every time you fail, you have to do 10 burpees before you go again. Now, what is that going to force people to do? It's like, oh, wow, I'm used to just doing 10 with the 14 and the 20-pound ball. Then I can't do those balls. I'm going to have to go lighter. This is how we educate people on lighter doesn't mean easier always. And we're trying to adapt. We're trying to stress the body in different ways. So, all right, you're going to get an 8-pound ball. Good luck, because you're going to have to do that, I don't know, 7 times. I'm bad at math. And that's what I mean by it doesn't feel like it's fun, because for me, that's fun. It's going to be awful, but that's a different way of continually bringing something to the class that the members, they can look at the workout. And if they're only ever coached, this is the workout, 5 to 10 reps, blah, blah, blah. At some point, it just gets boring. So if they know, oh, I'm coming in and the coach, I don't know how the coach is going to want me to do this today. It just gives that element of like unknown. Oh, what do you know? The unknown, unknown and unknowable. So it's that today was really fun because we did event 6 from the semifinals in the CrossFit games qualifiers. And it was a 30 calorie or 22 calorie echo bike, 15 muscle ups, and then a 72-foot lunge with 100-pound dumbbells and 70-pound dumbbells. And it's insane. Like got done with the bike at like a minute, on 15 unbroken muscle ups, and then unbroken on the lunge. Like having done that workout today at a lighter load and not fast muscle ups, so you bring that and you're like, guys, this is what the best do. And everyone's like, people don't care about the best. I'm like, people care about what you help them care about.
Yeah.
And we put a time cap on it. We don't time cap our workouts unless it's something competition style or it's a really, really long workout. And we had them go, hey, if you don't make a section, if you fail, oh, well, you got to go back,
Oh my God.
And we had a couple of folks failing and everyone got under the time cap and they showed up all being like, I can't do 15 muscle ups. That's all they were thinking about. And by the end of it, we got transitions and jumping and someone who did go on the high rings. And it was fun versus for time, 30 calorie on the bike, 15 muscle ups, blah, blah, blah. This is going to be your cap. Don't worry if you fail on the lunge. Just keep going. Don't worry about locking out. It's just, I don't think that happens a lot, but putting these parameters on things made it fun. That was a long answer. I apologize, but there's just different ways to coach it.
Ultimately, you can control the client experience as a coach and them being able to walk away, meaning that was really hard, that was rough, or that was hard, but it was fun. And that was the best hour of my day. And I think as we're kind of the orchestra people, as coaches, making sure everything's flowing right, making sure everyone's having a good time, but then also making sure people are working hard and they're not just chatting it up in the corner.
Yeah. I mean, we had one guy, he had one length left and he got to like the finish mat and he just crumbled. He didn't stand it up. And everyone was on the mat, like being like, you got to go back. You gotta go back. And imagine if I was just like, it's fine, Ronnie, you worked hard. You tried. There's not a lesson to be learned there. There's a lesson that you don't meet the mark. You got to do it again. Or, you don't pass the test, you got to go again. And so it was just the adaptation between the ears that we talk about a lot in CrossFit that Greg famously is quoted by. That's what happened to him in that moment. It wasn't a physical lesson. Yeah, he physically crumbled and failed, but psychologically he got stronger because he didn't want to do it again. He didn't even think he could do it again. But when he went back, what do you know? He did it. And then he learned a lot more about himself psychologically.
It's a lesson on grit. And if you can do hard things in the gym, how is that translating into your confidence of hard things that you can do outside of the gym? Mm-hmm. It all correlates. I love that. Let's talk about responsibilities. I think there's different levels of responsibilities with coach development. I think we have a responsibility on ourselves to develop and continuously be on a quest to learn. But owners, head coaches, like, let's talk about what does it look like? How do you foster coach development as an owner? What are some practical examples that you might do as an owner to foster some coach development with your team?
Yeah, I love this question on responsibility because we do a lot of this, right? We do a lot of that's you. And I just recently learned on my Diesel Day 24-hour experience that
Ooh.
from Tosh, he's like, hey, every time you do this, if you flip over your hand, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. So that wasn't mine. That's Tosh. Fantastic. And we point a lot, but here's how I see it is the owner has a responsibility to set the coach up for success. That's a non-negotiable, right? It has to happen. Now, the level of the coach, full-time, part-time pinch hitter, how they set those avatars up, it will be different. The coach has responsibility to deliver a great class experience. So the coach cannot just point at the owner and say, you're not X, Y, and Z. What are you doing to change that? The member has a responsibility to take care of them, to take care of their business, show up, be respectful, ask questions, know what they're getting into. And so everyone has a personal responsibility in the gym, but it falls on the shoulders of the owner to set the culture. An absent owner, I'm not saying it won't happen, but the culture will be weaker because the trainers will take over trying to foster and curate that culture just naturally. And if the coaches don't do that, guess who's going to do it?
The members.
The members, right? The members. And we all know that members love to make suggestions and all the things. So when you ask me about practical examples, it's a hard question because, again, it depends. Classic CrossFit answer, right? It depends. But I think the owner, first of all, needs to have cultural values and principles, core values, because that's what informs who they bring in. If they don't know who they are to their core, it's hard to bring somebody in that's going to fall in line with that. And it's hard to expect that they know how to fall in line with that. Just like, hey, go coach a class. Worst way to have, hey, I need a coach. Can you coach? I get that. That's like I'm drowning, help me out. But you're definitely setting yourself up for some issues down the line if we don't set some things in the beginning. So when you're in your hiring process, first of all, you've got to do your due diligence and respect the person. Be like, this is what we believe in. This is what we do. It's how we do it. And my job is to help you deliver that. So we do coach development. Now, I know that you have another job and you have 5 kids and your commute is X, Y, and Z. I know all that, but the expectation is that we develop, and that includes X, Y, and Z, and be very specific about what that is. And then tell them when it's going to happen, because then you're giving the trainer the opportunity to say, I don't know if I can. Cool. Well, what can we do? Like these conversations, let's get clear on what is going to happen when you join CrossFit HSN, Great. Now they know what they stand for. They know like where they pull, that they inform the decisions. They know that there will be development and anything else that the owner feels the trainer needs to know before we throw them into the lion's den. So then that it's a conversation, it's clarity, it's organization, and it's communication. And then the coach needs to be honest and realistic as to whether they can do that, and be honest and say, I cannot do once a quarter, as an example. But I'm willing to do blah, blah, blah. Like, so instead of just saying I cannot and bringing problems, can you find a solution that you can present to the owner that will be better for you? And the owner might be like, oh, that's not going to work. And you go back and forth, but you have to find the thing that is going to help create this optimal experience for everyone. So you got to show up as a coach. Like you're coaching 60 minutes, but there's more to it than 60 minutes. And it just is what it is. There's lesson planning. There's sticking around 10, 15 minutes after class and checking in on people. And like, there's things like that. So practically you have to show up. and you have to ask for help, and you have to be clear in what you can do without going into the details of like teaching and seeing drills. Like that will all happen. This is more the honesty between. And then the coaches need to communicate to the members and educate the members on the culture that the owner says. So it's like this trickle down, and how they do that is through whiteboard briefs, chit chat, teaching, scaling, threshold training, fun games, fun caps, like cooling down, and then just explaining to them what happened that day and why we only did 7 reps of a snatch and why that's part of our program. And so there's this whole education piece, and there's this communication piece. And if something isn't happening, the whole thing kind of comes crashing down. So without giving you, again, the practical steps, I think that is the great foundation to even get started. And then you just insert what you need for your gym.
I think what you said in regards to owners, knowing what to expect and clearly communicate, knowing what you want your coaches to do, clearly communicating that so that you're setting the standard is so big. And as you were saying that, I'm like, man, so many, when we think about building a nutrition program, so many owners that have nutrition programs have no idea what the coach is delivering and haven't set the standard. And that's why it's not being delivered at the level of professionalism as most of us are delivering fitness coaching. So totally relatable to nutrition. Sorry, we got a sidebar there. My head goes to nutrition often. But I think it's really important for you to have clarity in what you are wanting, what you expect, and also coaches to know they need to be very familiar with the class plans and even examples that you gave earlier. Okay, if I have this many people in my class, here's what's going to go. Or if I have too many people, how am I going to alter the workout a little bit to make room for everyone so that everyone has a really good experience? You got to think about all of those things. And I know for us, sometimes if we don't have coach evaluations like on the books, it could go quite some time without even giving coach evaluations. And do your coaches have the evaluation to know what they're getting evaluated on? Is there clear communication on what you expect so that you can provide quick feedback, not hold it all in and then be like, you're terrible. No, let's give quick feedback so that our coaches can improve. Because ultimately you don't make a ton of money as a CrossFit coach. Like they're doing it because they love it and they want to do it. So having that clear communication to get everyone better is so important. And I think as owners, we have to have our ears open to and be willing to and receptive to feedback, because we don't get it right all the time, right? Like we can all grow and learn together. Let's talk about a couple of practical situations that might come up for coaches. I think we've all had classes in your 26 people class. You probably had maybe some brand new people in that class and some experienced people. And I think it's important that everyone walks away with something after every class. How do you manage time so that the new people are getting the support that they need while also experienced people are getting a great experience too?
Yeah, and this is the whole thing. This is the CrossFit class.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to have a plan that fits everybody, which never, ever happens. That will never happen unless you're coaching brand new beginners or semi-final games athletes who can do everything. It's just, so you better be really good at connecting and scaling. It's just planning, Nicole. And I hate beating this drum down, but it's really true. It's what is the right plan? What is the most optimal plan that will satisfy the majority of the group, but won't neglect your outliers? And I call the outliers your advanced and elite. Some gyms have, and then I call your beginners. And beginners could be actually brand new to the program, or they could be, they've been doing it for a while, but their conditioning's still not great. They're still not, as fit as this majority, which is what we would call in CrossFit's world, the intermediate athlete, like there's somewhere in here. So I think about a plan that is going to keep everybody involved and challenged. We do it together. So if I was going to do, actually yesterday on that 26-person class, we had strict handstand push-ups. and everybody can do a certain amount of the handstand push-up together. And a lot of times I've heard, well, that's going to be too easy for the advanced. I'm like, not if you coach it right and you have them hold the plank and then you have them do the pike and then you have them do the descent. And even and easy doesn't mean it's not needed. They still have to warm up. They get into their shoulders, warm up the triceps, get the hamstrings firing. So there's a certain point where you keep, and then people call it the bus stop method, where you do something and then if you can't do it, you stay there and you move on. But there are a certain amount of things, barbell gymnastics, monostructural, where everybody can do this together. And then we might have to do this, right? So that would be some kind of like gymnastic thing. It's like some people up on the wall, some people down here, and you can call the reps yourself or not. But back to your question of how do you manage that in a big class or any class where you've got beginners and a mixed ability, you plan almost for what you're going to give them before they even show up. And you grab them before class and you're like, hey, what are you thinking today? I always like to ask that, not you're doing this. It's, hey, what are you thinking today? And we got like 6 movements here. We got it was a 6 movement workout yesterday too, which was bonkers, but it was, what are you thinking about this and that? It's a lot of reps. What do you think? And I want to give them the power to make some decisions, but I'm ultimately going to come back and say, I think this is the right call. In my head though, I'm like, they're going to do this, 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 and this. And I'm going to let them know that I'm going to check in on them a lot. So while the class is kind of moving and doing their thing and loading the barbell, I'm getting to these people. And who are these people? My advanced and elite and my beginners and whatever. That doesn't mean I'm neglecting the middle. They're gonna get what they need. But hey, Kevin, you're gonna go unbroken on these muscle ups today? How many are you gonna do? I think I'm gonna do 10. All right, do 12. Try 12. Because what they need is a little bit of a target. Squeeze your legs, tighten your butt, whatever. Hey, Patty, what are you thinking about doing? These transitions? Are we gonna do the dip to squeeze? I don't want you jumping up. Hey, show me one. Does that make sense? Do you think you can do 15? Yeah. So there's times within a class where athletes are left to their own devices to warm up or get some hot laps in. And that's where you specialize the group environment and you get to the people that you think don't know what they're doing or do know what they're doing. And they might need a little, one of those. And that all comes down to planning. When am I going to do that? When is that specialized time for these people? But you got to think about it ahead of time, or you can't. If you do it in the moment, maybe you can, but I guarantee that something's getting neglected elsewhere.
I think it's super helpful when people register for classes so that when you can plan accordingly, right? But I love what you said about talking and checking in with people before and giving them some autonomy, but then kind of guiding them, because it also makes them feel special, seen, heard, and like, man, I planned for you to be here. And I plan for you to have the best hour of your day. And, ultimately we're providing that specialized experience that they're not getting anywhere else outside of, your care and compassion for them inside of the gym. So
yeah, there's a lady and daughter that have been coming, Patty and Sammy, they're awesome. And I love it. I love having them in there. And they're in there with like Kevin, who's super, super fit. And I get excited for them coming. Like, man, I hope they come today. It's muscle up day. I hope they don't look at the workout. Oh, that's not for me. And they did. They showed up. It was great.
That's awesome. Let's talk about holding the standard. You talk quite a bit about this when you speak at affiliate summits, like holding the standard as a coach, but then also knowing, to the example that you gave earlier, hey, someone's having a day, and today maybe isn't the day we're pushing them to the limit. Where's the balance there for coaches?
Okay, this is a really good question. Not that the others weren't, but I like this one because that word standard gets thrown around a lot. Like, hold the standard. We hold the standard at our gym. We standard holders. And it always comes down to, for some reason, it's like, well, what if they can't go below parallel? You're just going to be like, get lower. I mean, anyone that says that, I'm like, you're just missing the point. Yes, we have movement standards, and that's part of holding the standard. We need to have a place to go so we can measure. And that's part of our program, the measurable, observable, repeatable aspect, where we log things, we track back, we hold ourselves accountable. It's part of the program. And the minute we stop doing that, in my opinion, we're just an exercise program. Like, we're just showing up and working out. We're not learning and being educated. And that's okay for some coaches and gyms. That's okay. Again, that would get really boring for me. What I love about CrossFit is the challenge of holding yourself accountable. So this movement standard, hey, today we have, I'll use the workout we did today. We have the Echo bike, and don't get off the bike till the number hits the number. That's done. It's a standard. Don't get off early. Muscle up. Start with your arms straight, feet off the ground, pass through some portion of the dip, and lock out your arms. It's a standard. Like this is not there yet. And why do a lot of people want to go there? Because it's harder to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not a problem to get here. It's hard to do that. Right. So it's a standard. We need to say that. And then the lunge. Back knee hits the ground, both legs extend your hips before you go into the next one, but get both feet over the line, stand up, and it's a standard. Now, somebody comes in and they're at a 2. I've asked this question before. I'm like, where are they coming? Where you at? Oh, I'm at a hard 2. This is not just being here is a win, Oh, hey, I'm at a 10. Awesome. All right, well, let's warm up and get rocking. And I see that they're just, I'm like, hey, can you squeeze your arms? And they're just like, no, that's all I've got. I'm not going to be like, no rep. Okay, it's like, hey, today, thank you for coming at the end of the day. Thank you for coming. Next time we do this, let's get those arms really locked out, right? Same thing with like going below parallel. Sometimes we have members that really struggle with that depth. They can get there, but it's hard. And they often go into their toes and their hip jacks up. And every day's a battle. Like, get lower, get lower. And when they do get low, it's really hard for them, but they can do it. If somebody comes in and their kids have been at them and they're arguing with their spouse or their boss yelled at them, I want to check in on that. And maybe that today that win is that they do what they can. It's not giving up on them. It's not making it easier for them. You have to know, is this one of those days where I'm going to keep saying, hey, a little lower, but I'm not going to really push it? Or is it a day where I'm going to let, and that's the soft skill. So we still have a standard. These people know we have standards, but I, as a coach, am making the call on what I think based on the conversation I've had with them, I'm going to give them what they need. But there are standards. And that's the difference. It's, that's the difference of like the coach who knows how to hold the standard, but at what cost? Is it going to give that optimal experience, or is it going to put them in a hole and they don't want to come back for a week?
That's good.
So, yeah.
That's good.
So there's some, you see the comments sometimes on the Instagram. It's like, this is terrible. Like, standards make people not want to come to the gym. I'm like, okay, then maybe CrossFit's not for them. And I know don't say that. CrossFit's for everyone. It is for anyone, but it's not for everyone. What we do is hard. I mean, it's literally the core of our program, like this hard work, this ethos of like, you're going to do something that you don't want to do. And that doesn't mean burning it down and redlining, but it's hard, and that's okay. And it's relative hard,
I do some of the foundations. I don't coach many classes anymore, but I do some of the foundations. And especially when it's older members that, they haven't done it much of any type of exercise in a while. And you try to teach them how to do a squat and they're like going down 1/4 of an inch, right? Like that's all I've got for you, Nicole. I'm like, well, how do you sit down on the toilet? How do you sit down in a chair? And then I'm like, why don't you just sit down to this box? And then eventually we can move the box, but I get them a target while also relating it to something in real life. And then they're like, oh no, I can do this. You're not out to get me. You're actually here to help me. And I think the way you talk about it, especially to new people, because they're starting with a blank canvas, you can mold them to say, how I'm coaching you is really to help you to make sure that you are staying safe and that you're moving well. And this stuff will transfer into the daily life activities that you do.
Yeah, the squat is, for me, it's one of the most important, if not the most important movement we have in CrossFit for life and fitness too, but for life for sure, because if you've ever seen somebody that loses their ability to functionally flex and extend their knee, their ankle, their hip, that's somebody that needs assistance getting off the floor. They need assistance getting out of a chair. And it only comes a matter of time before that assistance isn't just putting your arm on the side of the couch or on something. It's another human being. And when you need another human being to help you do that, that's either your family or it's assisted living. And guess what else? That is very expensive. So you could go into a CrossFit gym and learn how to move your body for the rest of your life for a what might seem expensive in the moment, like your 150 to your 250 a month. But I'll tell you what's more expensive. It'll happen later in life, and so it's the squat is, all right, I need to get you below parallel, but it's not about the standard. It's about your health and your longevity and taking you away from that state of decrepitude, which will get you. It will get you. So I agree with you. And then just helping them understand that we won't always need to do this to this intensity, but every day we should be going through some version of a squat. I believe that, truly.
I love that. Let's talk about some coaching non-negotiables. I'm most excited about this for you. Tell me a couple of things. Do not do this as a coach, and definitely you need to do this as a coach. Let's start with the do nots. Maybe
do not hurt people.
Seems very obvious. Okay. Well, expand that a little bit. What do you mean?
Do not hurt people and do not let people hurt themselves.
Give me an example.
Somebody's deadlifting and they are not moving in a manner that you deem to be safe for that load and that speed. And you tell them, hey, you're good to go. That's you potentially hurting somebody. It's not a 1-for-1, but or not even addressing that person at all. And they're just going to go and do what they want. Or you suggest that they take weight off and they say no. Now they're trying to increase the risk of injury. And if you walk away, you are letting them potentially hurt themselves. And that's the point where the coach either runs for the hills or they strap on their bulletproof vest and they're like, I'm going in. It's like one or the other, and it's not easy. It's not easy. I have people at my gym who I'm always like telling them things, and I step back and I'm like, okay, is this safe? Like, knowing this person's capacity, knowing what I know about them in other movements, is what they're doing detrimental to their health? And if it's like no question, yes, like I gotta go in. If it's I'm not sure, I gotta go talk to them a little bit more. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, that I always shut people down. I don't. Like, there's times where I'm like, I'm gonna let them do it. But if there's a time where they're moving safely and I've suggested that they do not do what they want to do and they ignore me, this is where I will say, I want you to know now, as a professional, I have recommended something for you to do. You will not do it. And therefore, anything that happens from this point on is out of my responsibility. Like, right? Because what are you going to do? Just kick them out, tell them, stop it, take the weight off. I mean, in the moment, in the class too, that's a lot of drama. But I do want them to know that my professional recommendation is you do not do this.
How do you continue without doing it if someone says that? I think because sometimes you get in the moment and you're like, no, I know I can do it. But then you have an expert that has another set of eyes, a different lens looking at you, saying that it might cause them to pause for a second, reassess, and be like, you know what? It's not worth it. I don't want to get hurt. Like, let's scale the workout down and it's okay. It's still going to be a great sweat.
And then, Nicole, there's the whole human stuff again. Do they need this today? Do they need this? Have they come in and they just need it? And then I have to decide as a professional, where is the balance? I know they need it, but it's way beyond what I'm going to accept. then no. Is it like, gosh, I'm a perfectionist, so not that I move perfectly, but I expect everyone in my class to. Is it one of those where like, oh, I want it to be better, but it's not where I want it, but it's okay. Like, then I decide, like, is it okay? Like, and that's why CrossFit's so hard, because anybody that was just coming in off the street and they were looking at a class and they saw some members, our member, moving in a certain way, and they had no information on the coach, the athlete, the relation, any of that, they could look at that class and be like, that's dangerous. Why are they letting them do that? But you don't have the information. You don't know that there's been this process that we've been working on, and the background to it. So it's hard, but there's just so many, it depends. But the non-negotiable is, do not hurt people, and do not let them hurt themselves. It's a big one for me.
I love that. All right. What's something you should do every time? The opposite.
What should you do? This is hard because there's not many. I think the biggest non-negotiable is that you care. And it's a grenade answer. I get it. It's very like wooey, but if I'm like, it's not like you must hit the stimulus. It's not that you must go below parallel. It's not that, none of those are shoulds. Like, yes, that's the goal. Like, we want to get them there, but a should, you have to do this, care. You have to care enough to make people feel special, not in a cheesy way, but that you see them and that you care, like you're going to give them what they need today. I don't see a situation in a class where if you don't have that, it's good.
And I think that some people are confused around caring and being relatable and sharing. It's not about you as a coach. It's about the client, and learning this idea of self-management directly relates to nutrition coaching too. You can have a great relationship and have a great rapport with someone and not share everything about you, and really keep it client-centered about them by asking them questions and truly listening to them and being engaged. So, I think as a coach, you need to, the hour plus that you're spending with your clients is not about you. It's about them, and making sure that you care and not just share everything that's going on with you, which sounds silly, but it sounds obvious. I wish sometimes that coaches had a recording of their classes and then could listen to what they say, and they probably would be like, oh, yeah. And even with nutrition coaching, like when you do consultations on Zoom, like listen to a recording of yourself and see, was everything that I said, in this best service of my client? Am I getting them to their best thinking, or am I telling them what to do? Am I talking about myself, or am I really keeping it super client-centered and helping them become a better version of themselves? Because there's times to share things that are going on with your life as a coach, but it's not in a class setting.
I love that you brought this up, because I had a moment, and I want to share it, because I think, I see people on the internet and I'm like, they've just got it all together. They just crush it every time. Like, so-and-so's promoting them here, and this is the voice of reason. And I had a moment a few weeks back where I got really humbled, and it was really hard for me. And it put me in like this real pensive state of like, what happened? And it was basically, without the details, it was that I did make it about me. I was like, this is what I want. I want this class to run this way, and I want it to look like this, and I want it to finish like this, and I want everyone to do X, Y, and Z. And it was this like, this is what I want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a little incident, and then I was like, man, I made that all about me. And what these people were doing was not even bad, but it like bothered me because of my quest for perfection, which is always a thing that prevents us from anything, right? Like, if it's not perfect, it's crap. Like that's the mindset of the A type. Perfect or crap. That's it. There's no in between. And then I was like, man, I really forgot what my role is at the affiliate and what I'm trying to do with these people who are coming to just feel better about themselves and get better and talk to their friends and have fun. And my job is to challenge them, inspire them, keep them relatively safe, connect with them. And I lost sight of that. And I was like, man, I'm not enjoying myself. And someone said that to me, you don't look like you're having fun. I always have fun in my class. I'm like, man, and that's why I was making it about me and having this perfect template of a class. And the minute I took that pressure off, my classes have been, at least I've had fun. I mean, I think they're having fun, but it was so true, Nicole. I could not agree with you more. Is you have to know, you got to know why you're doing what you're doing, but you also got to know why these people are doing what they're doing. And then you meet in the middle. It's compassion,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. What a wealth of knowledge in this podcast episode that you shared today. Thank you for coming on. Final thoughts here. One question. If coaches are like, man, I love everything that you said, I want to, connect with you, where can they find you? And maybe what are some resources for coaches in general to help them develop as coaches?
Yeah. So if they want to connect with me just personally, they can go to Instagram, dentom7. Coaches Development Program, Instagram. DT Lesson Plans has lesson plans that I write, and I just put them up on this profile for people to have. That any of those three, you can get me. And obviously CrossFit level 1 and level 2 courses. If you're in the Northeast, mostly you'll find me there. And then for resources, the level 1 and level 2 guide. I know it sounds like a broken record, but read it. Anyone that's on this call that's a coach, reread the CrossFit level 1 trainer guide in conjunction with the level 2. Don't read one and then the other. Read them concurrently. And sign up for the email of the day for CrossFit. Sign up for the professional coach if you don't have it. Right there is enough. It's all free. Some of the best in the business. That's where I go. Genuinely, I go there to what am I going to do? I need to hear what Eric's going to say. What's Nicole Christensen doing? Go there. You will not be disappointed.
I love that. Denise, thank you. I'm excited to see you in a week and a half. We are at the Jacksonville Summit, and then there's quite a few affiliate summits towards the end of the year. If you are an affiliate owner, these are free for you to go to. So it's silly for you not to find one. You don't have to go to one in your area anymore. You can go to any of them. Denise, you're at almost all of them. So it's really fun to be able to hang out with you. And owners, this year, now you can bring a coach or coaches with you to these events too. It's a small fee for you to bring your coaches. But I think it's important for us to invest in our coaches and for them to be around other really high caliber people so that we're all just striving for excellence together and raising the bar together. So hopefully we see some of our listeners at some of the affiliate summits. And Denise, thank you again for all that you do and coming on the podcast and sharing your knowledge with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed that episode with Denise. She is such a wealth of knowledge. I truly enjoy her, and her passion for serving people and help developing coaches just oozes out of everything that she does. It has been such a pleasure to get to know her and travel around and speak at many events with her. I want to relate this to nutrition coaching for a minute. Now, with fitness coaching, we can watch videos, we can get coach evaluations if we're a gym owner or a coach. We can level up our credentials by taking the level 2, the level 3, the CrossFit level 4. But what are you doing to level up as a nutrition coach? Coach development is a key component of what we do to help empower confident nutrition coaches. Of course, there's the initial training where you learn the foundational principles of coaching a habit-based and holistic approach. But the other pieces of coach development, like experiencing the program from a client's perspective, the coach evaluation where you are the coach and we are the client so that we can go through an initial consultation and ensure that you feel confident when serving your clients and addressing the other pieces of the puzzle beyond just the hour they spend in the gym. It's not just the initial training. We have ongoing support every single month. You have a mentoring call to help you develop as a nutrition coach. There's educational webinars, weekly live coach sessions, and an array of different additional training modules to help you add more tools in your toolbox addressing things like gut health, hormone health, kids nutrition, so that you can serve more people. If nutrition is the missing piece of the puzzle in your business, HSN Mentoring provides a turnkey solution for gym owners. We also have a standalone nutrition certification. This is for people who want to learn more about how to coach using a habit-based approach but aren't necessarily associated with a gym, or people that want to get the nutrition coaching certification to potentially get hired by a gym that is partnered with HSN. This is one of the only CrossFit preferred nutrition courses. You can click the link in the show notes to learn more about this. The way that an individual standalone coaching course works, the Healthy Steps Nutrition Coach certification, is there's online modules. There's 6 weeks of coaching that you get to experience the program from a client's perspective. There is a mentoring call to help you apply all of the information and create your next step plan. And the last step is a coach evaluation. Again, where you're the coach and we are the client. This is a vital piece of the puzzle to help empower confident nutrition coaches. This is the only certification that is hands-on, where you can experience and immerse yourself into the principles so that you can leave knowing exactly how you're going to serve your community using a habit-based and holistic approach. If you're looking for more information about that, definitely click the link in the show notes. We would love to help you.